All right, so let's get started. First of all, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Learning Resources workshop for creating quick videos. Thank you for coming today. We're going to have a little fun today, showcasing some of what we have available here at the library. And always, it's a pleasure to help students learn technology and learn about the resources available for them. Um, so let's get started. First of all, an introduction. About that presenter, my name is Johnny Molina. I'm an instructional assistant from Miami-Dade College here at Learning Resources. I've been working for Miami-Dade College since 2013. And I also graduated from MDC. Working for MDC has been tremendous. It has allowed me to get back to school and continue my education, and I've been able to get various certificates, such as a certificate in augmented and virtually reality. Additionally, I also received a certificate for CCNA 1 and 2. And I've been a part of the Learning Resources video group for the past 4 years. This group is tasked with creating digital content for the department for Learning Resources college-wide. So I've been able to hone my skills in video editing over the past few years. We regularly post videos. We regularly post videos on to our YouTube channel and Facebook and other social media sites. Also, I'm the technologies at Wolfson campus. I help students use new equipment, such as the equipment in our multimedia room, where we have the capability to shoot videos. We have state-of-the-art equipment and cameras to help students shoot presentations and shoot any digital content that they wish to create. We even have green screens installed to allow students to explore their creative prowess per se. So first of all, before we get started with the workshop objectives, I wanted to let you guys know here, feel free to post all questions on the chat at any time. I'm monitoring the chat continuously, so I'm able to see what you guys are posting. You're going to be given quite a bit of information here in the next few minutes, and please bear with me. Some of these, it's very important information so that you're able to post the best quality content on the whatever media you choose to post. So the first thing we're going to go over is creating quick videos and the process to creating those videos. And then we're going to talk about the best resolution recommended for whatever platform it is that you're choosing, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. And also an important part of that is the aspect ratios that you use in whatever platform you're going to choose to publish. Then once you make that decision, then we will talk about the equipment and software that's available to you to create these videos. And a lot of you also will be using, right, the mobiles, your phones. Technology has come a long way where cell phones are able to shoot fantastic footage that you can then edit, as long as the little settings and quirks that allow you to make sure that footage is acceptable for posting. And then we're going to be talking about tips and tricks and DMCA. Tips and tricks is really going to be given within the showcasing of the editing the 360 video that we're going to showcase at the end of the workshop. DMCA is applicable really to YouTube when we're talking about audio and other footage that you use within your video. So if you're a content creator, you're going to want to be mindful of the DMCA rules when it comes to that, so that your videos don't get demonetized or struck down. Again, feel free to post any questions that you might have. Uh, I will do my best to answer the questions. Okay, so as we get started, we get how to create a quick video. Everyone has a process, right? You're gonna use your creativeness to see what best suits you when creating a video. Uh, Personally, or what I do is I establish a workflow, right? I ask the following questions. What type of video am I shooting? Is it a personal video? Is it a professional? Or is it a social media video? Um, a lot of the time, right, it's not that serious. You're doing this for fun, but if you want to be a content creator, this or do marketing and things like that, you're gonna be need to pay attention to these questions because this will determine what equipment you need to use and where you're going to find the resources and software needed to edit those videos. So it might be a case that you're a content creator and you're publishing things for personal use as also professional and social media. So you might need to edit that video on a computer. So you're gonna have to be mindful of thinking what device you use to shoot a video, because if you shot your video with an iPhone, and the iPhone typically uses the video extension of a .mov, and those typically are not well supported in the PC spectrum or Windows. So if you're using a Windows computer, you might have encounter problems editing that type of file. So I have suggestions on what you can do in that regard, because it can be really frustrating to work with a .mov video in a Windows environment. And last but not least, right, you have fun and be spontaneous when shooting those videos. Don't be afraid to express yourself and be free. I'm not the most social person as well, so I struggle with this from time to time. Even doing this workshop might be a little bit difficult, but just try to have fun with it, and hopefully you were able to output something fun and that everybody, all the viewers, can enjoy. Okay, so first of all, we're going to talk about the recommended video settings and aspect ratio for each platform. So if you're shooting something professional and you're shooting something for YouTube, you're going to want to make sure that you're shooting your video in a landscape format, or not portrait, because if you're shooting a portrait, that it's an aspect ratio of 9:16, which that will be more suitable for TikTok. Whereas on YouTube, you're shooting landscape or widescreen modes so that the video fills up the YouTube player correctly and you don't see too many bars displayed. Uh, so you're gonna want to shoot at the minimum resolution of 1920 by 1080. That's basically 1080p, which is HD resolution. So if you're shooting for TikTok, the best aspect ratio for that it's 9:16, which is a vertical rectangle, right, view, and that's the best aspect ratio and resolution for also for Instagram, which also accepts a recommended resolution of 1080 by 1080, which is a portrait aspect ratio of 1:1. These are very important elements because you want to immerse the viewer in the content that you publish. And if you have big black boxes in the way, that really tunes your viewer out, or maybe the resolution of your video is going to be look too small. So I'm sure you guys have seen those videos on TikTok where they have two big black boxes on top and the bottom, and then you got to get super close to see what's going on, right? So you want to make it easy for your viewers so that they don't go through the trouble of having to do that. Here we're going to talk on YouTube also about the DMCA rules for audio, right? There's rules also for any other content that or footage that doesn't belong to you, but we're talking about content creators that are using audio as the background. Be mindful that on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, that those rules don't apply necessarily, and your videos or channel won't be taken down if you use those features. But if you're a content creator and you're posting to YouTube and you use a popular audio that you don't have the copyright for, your video will be taken down and demonetized. So I'm going to show you a nice little source for audio that you can find with the YouTube creators, right? So why is this YouTube creator? Give me a minute. I think this went haywire. Okay, anyways, I think I misplaced the tab for that. So we're gonna improvise, and I'll give you the instructions here are at the bottom. So you basically visit youtube.com, and when you log in into your account at the top right, you'll be able to click on your account icon. Then you're gonna get a drop-down menu, and it will say YouTube Studio. You click on YouTube Studio, then it's gonna populate a new page, and over on the left-hand side, it will say Audio Library. So if you click the audio library, then it's going to give you thousands and thousands of audio that you can use free of copyright, and for all your videos. You won't have to worry. What's next? Okay, so once you find out what video you're going to shoot, obviously a lot of you are going to be using the phones. And the phones have a lot of great applications that you can use to edit footage. For in Android per se, the same gallery app and photos application from Google have great editing tools that allow you to edit videos just by clicking the edit button, and it will one of them has a great stabilization tool. So if you're shooting a video on the go and your hand is always moving, right? That's going to create a problem for your video because your video is on the move. But if you open that application on Android, you can add stabilization to your video. So normally video footage from the phones are fine. You can create great content from there. But if you feel like you need more power to your videos, right, we have that available in Wilson campus in the multimedia room. We have cameras available, professional grade cameras. We even have 360 cameras that allow you to shoot, great content and creative content. And also, as you're going to see in a couple of minutes, I'm going to showcase how you can edit that 360 footage, and then you're going to have it and be able to take it to TikTok or any other application and create great content. And then we're going to see the software. Over on the computer courtyard, we have Adobe Premiere Pro. You can always come into the courtyard. You can shoot the footage with your camera, and then you're going to have the software at your fingertips to be able to edit that footage. And you can always come to us and get some help. We'll teach you the basics, how to edit the footage, how to crop it, how to separate a clip, make it into several clips, and how to convert that potentially. Remember I mentioned that the iPhone shoots in that MOV format. We can teach you how to convert that format to an MP4, which is more widely accepted in all platforms. Okay, so next I'm going to show you how to edit a 360 video. Before I start, does anybody have any questions? Patrick, maybe anybody over at the library has any questions? Okay, I'm going to assume we're good. Let me return this video to the beginning. So this is, I shot this footage a couple of days ago, and as I prepared it to showcase how to edit a 360 video. The application we're going to use is Insta360. Insta360 is a 360 video editing tool that it's available for free on Android and iOS. So you can come into the computer courtyard and ask to record a 360 video. And what we'll do is we'll connect this application to your phone and transfer that footage to your phone so you can have it for you to edit at any given point. So you can leave the courtyard, you can have that footage in your phone, and you can play around with the editing tools that you have there, which I'm going to show you now. So we're going to open Insta360. We're gonna edit the video shot on September 9th. You see that cool looking guy. And this is the UI for the application. It takes you straight into the video and it begins playing it. And I'm gonna pause it and show you a close-up on how to view the video. Basically, you just click and drag. Click and swipe to the left, click and swipe to the right to view the area, as you can see. It's easy done, and here we're going to show you one of the tools that you're going to be using a lot is the trim tool. Basically, this tool allows you to crop your videos and select what part of the video you want to edit. So the rows on the left and right allow you to trim areas of the video. Let me rewind that one a little too fast. Okay. As you can see, the two arrows left and right, you can move them left and right, and as you make your selection of the area that you're wanting to edit. Next, and remember that I spoke about the aspect ratios and how important they are. So here, the 16:9 is the aspect ratio recommended for YouTube. So if this video you're editing it for YouTube, that's what you want to select. But if if you're choosing to edit this video for TikTok, you're gonna select the 9:16 resolution. If the full vertical rectangle view, it will take the whole screen on the application if you post the video. And as you see, we can also have the 1:1 aspect ratio. This is more generally well received in Instagram posts. And then we also have the super widescreen view, which is the 2:35 view on the right side. Yes. So these allows you to get an extra wide screen. You can also publish these videos on YouTube, and they also look fantastic. Even though that they have extra black bars on the top and the bottom, the quality is amazing for these videos. So here I'm gonna advance the video and showcase how to crop the video. I want to forward this video and make sure that we're starting right where that Miami-Dade College Wolfson campus sign is. So I'm going to cut the video so that the video begins right when I'm standing in front of it. And again, it might require you to move the screen a little bit, and you have to just click and drag to do that. Okay, I think that's a good starting point. Oh, wasn't satisfied, so I moved it a little more. But when you arrive at a good starting point, what you're going to do is you're going to let it sit there, and then you click the check mark up top, and now you have your starting point selected. The next thing is you're going to set the viewfinder, right? The viewport. You're going to do that by adding a keyframe. And please pay attention to this, because this is one of the most important video editing tools that you're going to learn, because keyframes are essential to adding animation to any videos that you're editing, and it's normally applicable to any application that you're using. You're always going to find that keyframe adds animation. So as you can see here, the yellow cross, or the black cross surrounded by the yellow background, it's what will add a keyframe. So the keyframe will basically tell the application that I want the application to focus on this view. I want the viewer to see this part whenever the video starts. So let's say we're satisfied with that view, we press the plus, the cross, and you can see that a yellow circle pops up in the middle. This means that you have set the keyframe to that point of view. So the video will begin with that point of view. And we're going to zoom out, and we're going to repeat this process we advance. At the bottom, it's the video timeline. So if you notice, it's at 2 seconds. So you do that by swiping left to advance the timeline. And we're going to add another keyframe here, as you can see, so that will be the viewpoint at 2 seconds. And we're going to walk the video a little more and switch the viewpoint to another area so we can see what we're beginning to face. So this is going to be a repeating theme where we keep adding a keyframe to tell the viewer where they are looking. Again, we're editing a 360 video and we're converting it to a normal video. But by doing this, we're adding animation to the video and having the viewer interact with the surroundings of the subject. Again, we're going to keep repeating as the video advances, and you keep adding another free keyframe. So here we're going to be walking towards building 1. But since I'm not the fastest person in the world, right, we're going to add a little speed. We're going to give me some speed here. So we're clicking on the speed option. And then, as you notice, we have various speeds. If you put the lower ones, you're actually going to walk much slower. So if we set this, we'll probably get there in 2 days because I'm a slow person. Anyway, so we're going to select the 4 speed. And you notice that as soon as we select it, the 4 times speed has been activated. And all we have to do to apply the speed is to drag the timeline to the left. We're dragging the timeline. As you can see, it's beginning to leave a trail as we advance the timeline by 16, 29 seconds, etc. So the 4 times speed is being added here. Don't mind what I'm doing up here at the moment. I'm just showing you how the view looks as I'm progressing through the video. We're going to go back and add keyframes to that so that the viewer can see more of the surroundings as we speed through this area. Okay, so we're beginning to arrive at the last checkpoint for the speed here. We're meeting this cool little guy that we're going to get back to later. So once you're finished adding the speed you feel comfortable with that area, you can click the check mark to add that speed to that area. As you can see now, we're back. And that has been added. It's labeled as 4 speed for that. You're not going to see the effect right now in editing. You will see it until we're done with the video. Okay, so here we're going to go back and again we're going to add more keyframes, more key points, which are the point of view that we want the viewer to see. And keep note of how many seconds, right? I'm adding a keyframe about every 4 seconds so that the change is smooth. The animation being added is smooth for the edit of the video. So if you were to add a checkpoint every second, then you're going to have the image tilting left and right, and you're going to make your viewer dizzy. So if you put a little bit of time, about 3 to 4 seconds in between each animation, then it should be smooth. And this last frame, I think I wanted to come out in the video a little more here, a little more popular. This guy looks great, right? So we have the last keyframe here before we turn to our friend. One of my favorite persons here. I mean, everybody's my favorite person here at Wilson campus. Leslie is a great person, great guy to work with. But as you notice, this is a repeating theme. We keep adding and adding keyframes so that we can select which point of view we want to showcase our viewer in our final edit. And I'm going to keep adding a couple of more so that you can take a view of the surroundings and take a great look at these 2 great employees representing learning resources. Again, so another note that you can see, you saw there that I also zoomed out on the image. You can also zoom in and zoom out of your image by doing like the pinch motion with your fingertips. So you can drag, just like you can drag left and right, you can also press your two fingers on the screen and you can separate them and pinch them to either zoom out or zoom into the image. As you can see, this generates some great shots. So imagine you could be in the beach and get some great footage like this. So you can experience your surroundings in a different point of view. Okay, so the rest is just me setting up more keyframes so that they are well represented in the video. Here. Okay, so here at the end, I'm going to showcase a little bit how that looks, and I'm going to make a final cropped trim of the video. And I'm showing here, you see how the transition looks smooth from keyframe to keyframe. It's adding an automatic animation. This is great content. So, and last but not least, so we're ready to export the video. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the export or share button up top. And we want to leave this at 1080p and want to check my color pros and remove grain to make it the best quality possible. And we're going to export it, and this is actually a video that's sped up. It's not this fast. It's usually, it'll take you about 2 minutes to export the video. But after this is going to be available on your phone's gallery, and you're free to share it to any social media that you want or post it to YouTube. And it's going to be a fantastic quality. So here you go. I'm clicking on the gallery to see the video. And the last video we edited was this one here. It's a minute 30 seconds. And here you can see a preview of what we edited. Please be mindful of the quality. The quality is actually absolutely fantastic, but due to collaborate reducing the video quality, it might look a little choppy or not as smooth. But this is just an example of what you can create with these cameras and how to edit a 360 video. I feel like if you can edit something like this, you can really edit any video. It will make you comfortable in creating other videos as well. Right, and so that was how to create a 360 video. I'm not covering every detail or every possibility that we have available with this in editing these videos. We also have the capability or the ability to, let's say you select a subject of any footage. Let's say if you're walking by or you're walking with your friend, you could tell the footage to just concentrate on what your friend does by highlighting the body of your friend. And no matter where you go, the camera will focus on what your friend is doing, and you get some really amazing shots that way also. So the camera will move, even if you stay in a standing position and your friend moves, the camera will follow. I think we're running on 30 minutes now, so we have plenty of time. Let's see. So this is just one of the capabilities that we have, how you can edit footage. And please, if you have any questions, feel free to post them on the chat. Okay. There's obviously a lot more to this. There's many methods, and nobody is wrong what method you take to edit the video. If I'm editing a video, this is the normal approach I take to editing a 360 video. Editing normal videos, it's a little different as well. But if you follow the same guidelines from the beginning of what resolutions and aspect ratios that you need to use for depending on the platform that you're going to publish, you're going to be you're going to be in a good standing and always publishing great content and high quality content. Um, so please, if you have your phone, feel free to scan the barcode and fill out the survey. If you have any comments, or suggestions. I'm gonna be doing this workshop, I think in November again. So if you want me to see edit a different type of video, go ahead and suggest it on the comments on the survey. Make a comment, say that you wanna. I right now at the moment I plan to edit another 360 video and then import that into TikTok and edit it within TikTok so we can add some different effects on that. So but if you have another suggestion, I can also showcase one of the videos that I publish on like on Facebook or a video that I create so that it translates to all the platforms. Sometimes I have to design video templates that will be posted on from YouTube, then to Facebook, and also in a 9 by 16 resolution. So generally, I take a different approach to those videos. Oh, I see Annie says iPhone editing. Definitely. Uh, that's a good suggestion. We will have, because I know that iPhone, it's a little bit of a learning curve there. Like I mentioned, because there's issues with the file formats and how they translate to other applications. It's a little difficult editing those applications, and sometimes you lose the quality of your videos in one shot, and you don't know what happened to it. That's what I normally any video that I shoot with an iPhone. Right away, I take it to Adobe Premiere and I convert that to an MP4 quality format because it's just easier to work with that format. The that MOV video file format is very restricted. In any case, well, I think I forgot to mention that the workshop is actually being recorded, so we will be posting this workshop on one of our YouTube playlists for you to review it if you want to revisit that later. Please don't forget that we have the cameras available here at the Computer Courtyard. You can also visit your local campus library or Computer Courtyard and ask to see if they have these resources or equipment available for you. But if they don't, please, you're welcome to come here to the Wolfson campus, go to the library or the Computer Courtyard and request to see me, Johnny Molina. And this is my information here. That's my email, and I'll leave it up for a little bit. And also my line, my direct line. Feel free to leave a voicemail there. It goes directly to my email as well. And let me know like what project you're working on and how I can help you